All right. So today we're going to talk about how we manage or how you would manage your stress. And we'll just start off with, I guess we'll start off with Sifu Lester on how he manages his stress, or how can we manage our stress?
How does Seafood Lester manage his stress? Well, I'll tell you this. Seafood Lester's life is based around being in a state of not stress, no stress. So everything I do is basically built on that concept of managing my stress. And what do I mean by that? I do my best to be very mindful of any and everything that goes into my system, because stress comes from various sources, not only from one way, one means. And a lot of our stresses are actually coming from just being born into society. You know, we brought a lot of it with us. So it's genetic. So I manage my stress by being mindful in regards to my food intake. What do I put in my food? Does it create free radicals that's going to cause my body to have oxidative stress? I do my best to eat an alkaline diet, staying away from the more acidic type of food choices. I make sure that I get at least 20 minutes of exercise every single day. And my exercise of choice just happens to be Tai Chi. It doesn't have to be that for everyone. So some type of movement. So movement is medicine as well as our food. And also what I listen to, you know, I like to listen to things that's going to help uplift me, you know, enriching my soul. So I've been doing a lot of listening to you, brother Aaron. I've been tuning in a lot of your talks lately, and find quite a bit of inspiration there. So I do my best to be mindful, like I said, because everything that's in our circle, the people, places, and things, they all influence our level of stress. So, and there's also good stress. So I'll tune in later with more, but basically that's the primary thing I do. And then there's things I do to get rid of stress. You know, what do I do to get rid of stress? Have you ever taken a spiritual bath before? You know, some people may have never heard of a spiritual bath or know what that's all about. And actually, I'd like to talk about that more in a video. I'll share that information with you all, my method of how to create a spiritual bath, you know, and how to detoxify the body of things that actually cause stress. So it's a lifestyle, brother, for me. So I guess I'll pass the mic on to whoever else is going to chime in on the subject.
I guess I'll go. So, I mean, I'm kind of in alignment with you, because you said that you try to live like stress free. You try to do things beforehand to not be stressed at all. And I'm a very optimistic person. So even in stressful situations, I'm just always optimistic about the best outcome in every situation, and being grateful for every situation that happens to me. It relieves a lot of stress for me. In order to manage the stress, it's better to not let the stress pile up on you. So just being grateful for every outcome. Even if I get a flat tire, I could be grateful that I still have 3 tires that aren't flat, and I got a spare that's going to help me get to the gas station or to a tire shop. So just being grateful and optimistic about every situation helps me keep my stress level low, because it is so many things in society and life, in everyday life, that can make your stress rise up to as unmanageable. But when I feel myself getting stressed, stress that I didn't have time to combat, I do like to meditate. Meditating clears my mind. It calms me down. It calms my nerves down, because stress is something that I dealt with a lot in my life, stress and anxiety. So meditation actually calms down my nerves, and then I'm able to probably journal about what I got through meditation, and about things that may be stressing me in my life. And I can see it from a different perspective through meditation and journaling. So yeah, for now, those are the things: being optimistic, being grateful, meditating and journaling are the ways that I manage my stress and the ways that I get my stress down when I feel myself getting overwhelmed with stress.
Yeah, you said a very important thing, and actually that was at the very top of my list. And it's good to see that we have that common thought where just being thankful, grateful, just that alone. Once you start being grateful, you'll notice that you'll start getting more circumstances in your life that you can be grateful for. It's like, and it just created an atmosphere of things to be grateful for, and then life becomes abundant. So I like that. Thank you for sharing that, bro. Who's gonna chime in? Is it Sister Pam or Brother Dan?
I'll talk.
How do you manage your stress?
You want me to go? Sure.
If you want, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of piggybacking on what Cecil Lester says and Aaron, but one of the things I try to do is to do a preventative approach, and this is making lists of things that I have to do that need to get done and kind of checking things off, because if I don't make lists, I forget. And then when it comes to me, like, did you do that? Then that is something that could be a trigger.
Right.
And knowing your triggers of what can cause stress helps. So that's why I try to keep lists, and on a daily basis, and this is something that you do in business, just to keep yourself organized. Because when I find that things from the outside start to come in, it can cause you to feel disorganized. And when I start to feel disorganized, I know that's a trigger for me. So to avoid that, I step back, I take some deep breaths, and I try to step back away from whatever that trigger is and clear my mind. Once I have a clear mind, then I can rethink what I need to do to get through whatever it is. Okay, but the stress I find is just having yourself organized ahead of time really helps me.
I like that. So it sounds like your approach, Sister Pam, is kind of, I heard one key word that kind of made my ears stand up, and it was avoidance.
Avoidance, preventative,
Yeah.
just trying to stay organized and on a preventative basis, so that when an actual stressful situation comes, you can say, oh, okay, I've taken care of that, and it's handled.
Right. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
I actually tried that before, making lists, and like, I have to have more than one list now, because
it
was starting to stress me out, because I had a list and I was kind of piling everything on the one list, and then it would stress me out if I didn't get it done. So it's like I have like 30 things to do in a day, and it's like I only get 10 of them done, and it's like then I would get frustrated and stressed because I still have 20 things on the list that I never did. So I had to break it up, the most important things throughout the day, then throughout the week, and throughout the month. So I got lists all over the place. Like I had to, break down the list and start compiling them, because I had books everywhere with lists and things that I needed to do. And then it was getting
I'm not
hard
laughing
to keep.
because I'm the same way. I've got a list in the kitchen, a list downstairs, a list upstairs. I'm like, no.
Yeah, it's like all over the place. So it's like, trying to do something to stop stress was like making me get more stressed out. So I had to find a way to fix that problem too.
I'm a yellow sticky guy, Post-it note.
I got that too.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
There's a list right there.
Too.
Little yellow Post-it note.
Yeah.
Yep,
It tends to help, doesn't it? All right. Now I know I'm with family now.
How about you, Dan? What's some things that you do to manage your stress?
A lot of it you guys have gone through, but in the past, I never welcomed any stress, but I started to realize that a little stress or little stresses are really good for me because they sharpen my awareness and they challenge me. And they provide a little more of a healthy mental state, I think. But it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens, I think is the biggest issue you have to understand, and then don't take it personally. You know, if you take all the negative stuff personal, it's really hard to manage it. As far as the big stress goes, that's not healthy for mental or for physical, but I have used list too, and I found that I really enjoy checking off the list. So if I had 6-7 items on there, if I can check off 3/4 of them, I feel good about it. But I have to rewrite the list and throw the old one away so I don't accumulate more lists than I can manage. So I've done that too, where you have too many lists and you get nothing done because, well, you don't remember what was on the last week's list or what's going forward. So I was always better off if I had physical activities, either bicycling, or when I was into snowmobiles, I would get into the flow. If I could get into the flow of something, I could mentally kind of back away from the stress for a while and take some breaks. So that's where the martial arts came in well, and the Tai Chi comes in very well to help manage the stress. I also found that if you're less judgmental, you have less stress. So you have to fight being too far right or too far left, because both of them are very judgmental, demanding if you're on the edges, and they think they know it all. So excuse me, but that's only politics I'll get into. But then, so essentially, I try to simplify life if I can. The more I can simplify it, the less pain there is and the less stress there is. One way is to face the problems, write them down, and then maybe throw the paper away, because then mentally that puts it out someplace, and it lets the ether work with you. Once you call it out, what the stress is and what the problem is, a lot of times the answer will come back to you naturally. Not all the time, but much times. And what else I have here? Take responsibility for your actions. That takes a lot of stress away. You'd think it'd give you more stress, but it actually reduces stress. And work with the present, not the past. You can learn from the past, but that's the only thing you should carry forward. So that's my input.
Yeah, I like what you said when you said don't take things personal, and that's one of the things that me being optimistic and grateful for everything, again, speaking on a flat tire, you don't take it personal. It's a flat tire. It's going to have to get fixed. You're going to have to deal with it one way or another. You getting stressed out about the situation isn't helping it at all, because you still got a flat tire. But again, being grateful and thankful that you have a spare tire and that you didn't get it flat on 2 tires. And it's not the universe or the world, picking on you, because we drive past people with flat tires all the time. So, you just happen to be the one with the flat tire this time. So not taking it personal and just dealing with the situation in the present moment. And then, a lot of people dwell, like you said, don't bring the past with you into your present, because, you could get home and then just start calling your family members like, oh, I had a flat tire. I was outside for 3 hours and complaining. And then that just builds more stress and anxiety and a whole lot of other problems that come along with that.
They'll be planting those negative thought forms.
Yes.
Right.
And then they begin to become perpetuated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we have to do our best to stay away from that, because that can that can cause us a lot of stress as well. And we don't want to be that person that's always carrying that negativity around to other people either. Do our best to stay away from that.
And of course, it's all easier said than done, but at least that's the direction, that seems to help.
Say that again, Dan?
It's easier said than done. All the stuff we're talking about is easier said than done, but we've all made mistakes and learned from them. And,
absolutely.
but as long as long as you're driving down the right side of the road, you know, you feel better.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I like that.
Hmm.
I like that. That's true,
Well, just
man.
putting things into practice every day
Right.
makes it easier. And I would say starting off small would help you build a habit out of it, because if you try to do it big and attack your biggest stressful issues head on, and it's something that you're not accustomed to doing, then you're going to fail, which is a lesson learned. But a lot of people take failure as another mechanism of stress. So it would be best to start off small, figuring out things that, again, may be your trigger, and start dealing with the small triggers before you try to deal with the big ones.
So let me ask you a question, man. What would be an example? I know it all depends on our own perception. A common example that you see with people that you deal with of something small that they could do to start moving in the right direction.
A lot of people feel like that they don't have enough time in a day to get the things done that they need to get done. But then a lot of people don't want to wake up an extra half hour early to get their day started, so they have more time to get some of the things done. So small things like that, just waking up, even though waking up a half hour early means that you probably have to go to sleep a half hour early, which getting more rest would help you relieve a lot of stress in your life, because we tend to not get a lot of rest. And writing down your thoughts, feelings, and emotions before you go to sleep will actually help you sleep better, because what's running in the background of our mind when we try to go to sleep keeps us awake from time to time, because we're thinking about all the things that we didn't do, or thinking about all the things that we should have did. But if you journal and write that stuff down before you go to sleep, like Dan said, you kind of get that out in the ether. You kind of get it out of your mind. You don't have that monkey mind because you wrote it down. You can always come back to that list or come back to your journal at any point in time. But if it's in the back of your mind, you're going to be constantly thinking about it. So go to bed a half hour early, write down your thoughts. Sometimes I call it brain dumping, when I write down stuff and it doesn't have to make sense. It's just maybe a thought that pop up in my head, just brain dumping. And then go to sleep. You'll have a clearer mind, and you could get up a half hour early because you went to bed a half hour earlier. And then you have a half hour more in your day to get some things done. And if,
I like that.
if you do what Pam said, write a list. So if you write a list of something that you need to do tomorrow morning, you have that list right there. You brain dump the night before, so you have a clear mind. When you wake up, you know what you're going to do. And there you go.
Right. Instead of thinking about it as you're trying to go to sleep. Oh, I don't want to forget about doing this tomorrow and doing this tomorrow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I should do that, because I'm finding the last, I don't know, couple of weeks I've just been tossing and turning or waking up in the middle of the night, and that's crazy. I'm like, deep breathe, and it's maybe I doze off. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a really good sleep. So maybe that's what I need. And in the back of my mind, I'm hearing all the noise there, trying to clear it out, and it's not going away.
So I think that for me, that relieves stress, because again, I'm a list kind of person. So writing things down, or I'll text it to myself, because if I don't want to get up in the middle of the night and write it down on a piece of paper, because you got to turn the light on, your phone lights up, you just text it to yourself and it's going to be there in the morning when you wake up. And that way you get it out of your mind. Because sometimes for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but if I have a lot of thoughts on my mind, like I'll be in a haze for probably like 2 hours, just laying there. I won't be asleep, but I won't be awake. And I'll just be constantly thinking about things. And then when I go to sleep is when I get a lot of ideas for videos and ideas for courses and stuff. So if you get that stuff out before you lay down, then you'll get a better night's rest. You won't wake up stressed. You won't wake up tired.
It's like rebooting the mainframe.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. That's good.
So Sifu Lester said that he does at least 20 minutes of exercise a day, and he does Tai Chi. And Dan said that he used to be in snowmobiling. Is there any exercises that you do, Pam, throughout the day that you try to at least keep consistent?
Tai Chi. every day. And I actually, I do some neurological exercises, okay, every day, okay, for my MS. Okay, these are for, you know, just to it's not really preventative, but it's just something I have to do every day to improve my neurological system, you know, because it's out of whack. And, you know, when I can, I try to do a little bit of walking. I used to do a lot of biking. I can't do it anymore because of my foot drop. But that's okay. That's okay. But I try to, yes, incorporate some kind of activity every day, and definitely the Tai Chi every day. That is Tai Chi and Qigong. That is essential.
So how about you, Dan? If you're not snowmobiling, what's some things that you do to stay active?
Well, yeah, it's been years. It's probably been, I sold the snowmobiles, 3 years ago. So it's probably been 9 years before I really rode hard. But I always enjoyed the martial arts. And so I still do a hard martial arts class once a week. And then the Tai Chi whenever I can catch it. And then I teach the Tai Chi after the hard martial arts class once a week. So that's very satisfying. Maybe after COVID softens up here a little bit, I can go ahead and get the adult class started again. And that was a lot of fun. But I like to walk too. And I used to bicycle, but I just haven't done too much of that. I have tried a little bit of kayaking this year, and that's been really good.
Oh, that's nice.
I enjoy the upper body movement with the kayaking a lot. When COVID started, I've got a barn that I keep a bunch of tools in and crap. But that's when I was introduced to Sifu Lester on Facebook. So I'd be down there all day until it was time for the Tai Chi class. And I always look forward to that. And then there's no heat down there. So it might have been 10 degrees or 15 degrees or 20 degrees. It's hard to tell, but I always enjoyed in fact, I still got the 5-star steps taped on the concrete floor. So I just find ways to keep moving. Basically, I don't like to sit still too long. And if I can walk, if I can take the dog for a walk, if nothing else, or go out. If you know, I've got some fruit trees, and I've got some grapes, and I've got some other stuff in the yard there that needs attention. And then my wife's flower garden, we work on that together. So that's anything I can find an excuse to stand up and do, I like to do.
Yeah.
You said one thing that really is good is the teaching. Okay, I teach a few classes a week, and that in itself, you know, you have to work to prepare for that. So that keeps me occupied and hopefully stress-free, because you know, you got to be prepared, you know, because people want to learn. So you have to, you know, just preparing for those classes really helps as well.
I had a question for Sifu Lester. For me, I know sometimes when I get stressed out and I don't notice it, or I can't catch it consciously, like my body will get tense or I'll be tight in certain places. But since you train Tai Chi every day, is there a way that you can tell when you're starting to feel stressed that you didn't catch consciously beforehand?
But you know, actually over the years of training meditation and Tai Chi, I've made it a habit where I kind of like, I'm always doing this. I think of my body like an airplane, right? And my consciousness is being like the pilot. And before the plane takes flight, the pilot always does that test, you know, checking everything to make sure that it's functioning properly. So I'm constantly doing that to my state of being. And when I say state of being, I'm talking about my physical state of being, making sure my structure is properly aligned, you know, sitting erect, chin in, and breathing correctly. And I also pay attention, like if I know I'm in a stressful situation, I make sure that I'm following the protocol. I just always, it's just a natural thing that just happens now. And it's become such a routine habit that it feels like it's like on autopilot, you know? So it's like a constant navigation system, navigating my body, checking for any type of stiffness, whether it's a thought or just stiffness in my physical being, you know? So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, you made me sit up because you said sit in a wreck, and I noticed that I was slouching over, so I had to sit up.
Yeah.
But I think that's one good
Yeah.
thing. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I just going to add in the on top of what Sifu Lester was saying, that you know, you do the meditation, and once you're into the meditative state, you can essentially go all over your body and look for areas that are tight or not right.
Mhm.
So it, you know, that's one thing that Tai Chi or Qigong really provides. And I don't know that I'm the best at it yet, because it takes, is, you know, something you got to work at. It doesn't come, so it doesn't come natural necessarily, but
Mhm.
it is a tool you can use, and you can tell if things aren't right pretty easy.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah, when you
So,
do standing meditation, that's what I do, you know, or that's what you should do, is scan your body and look for the tense areas and let it go. Okay.
Absolutely.
I haven't had the
Alright.
opportunity to learn Tai Chi or Qigong yet, but one of the things that I do as far as meditation, and I prefer to do this when laying down. So I'll lay down, and I figured out a way on my own. I actually tried to YouTube it, but the way people explain it, it just wasn't connecting for me. So I do it a different way. And I'm learning on how to explain it to other people, because right now I can only do it for myself. But moving my energy up and down my body as a body check, and wherever my body starts to get cramps at is where I may be holding tension or stress. Because if you stay hydrated, you won't get cramps. But because we're hydrated and we're energetic beings on the inside, when the energy moves to the physical part of that space in your body, if I start to get cramps, then I know that's where I'm holding stress at, or where I'm holding tension at. And then I'm able to figure out why I'm holding stress or tension in that area in my body. But right now, again, it's hard for me to explain
That's
it to the
a very
people.
similar. That's a very similar technique.
Okay.
So yeah.
We do the same thing, Aaron. And actually, I've had my most profound, I'll say profound to describe the experience, meditation, lying down as well. And you talk about scanning the body. In Tai Chi, we talk about, and Qigong as well, we talk about the Yi, which is the intent, leads the Qi, or the energy. So we use our mind, and we begin to travel through our body in a very specific fashion. So we imagine that we open certain joints in the body. So you want to be familiar with the certain joints in your body. So we open our ankles, we open our knees, we open our hips, and then we go into our lower spine, our center spine, the upper spine. Shoulders being a problematic area for a lot of people, a lot of tension there. So opening the shoulders, opening the wrists, and the fingertips as well. So we're doing all this with our mind, and over time, they say the fate becomes real. So you go from using your imagination and guiding that energy to the point where it becomes a real thing, you know. And it starts off with just a thought, like everything, and then you begin to build a sensation. I'm not talking about hallucination. I'm talking about a real sensation that's real there, is really there. And over time, you begin to build up that ability that you were just speaking of.
Right. I see Seafood Lester explained my own ability to me better than I could explain it to you guys. I appreciate that.
I'm sorry about that, bro.
No, I mean, no, like I said, it's hard for me. Sometimes, I think sometimes, this is a little off topic, but I feel like sometimes when you acquire knowledge or a certain expertise in something, or the ability to do something, it's hard for you to explain it to people who aren't doing it.
Of course,
And
absolutely.
if you learned it and didn't write it down step by step, it's kind of hard for you to go back and explain it step by step to some people. I found for myself.
No, that's very true. And then another thing too, when we're talking about the intangible, right? There really, a lot of it, there's no words to really describe it. So it's really a challenge to put it in words, period. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a feeling, you know, and it's really hard to explain real feelings. I'm not talking about like an emotional thing, I feel sad or whatever, but a true sensation. It's really hard to verbalize, but we do our best.
Were you about to say something, Pierre?
Something
Yeah,
we haven't
sometimes when,
dis-
yeah, I was going to say, sometimes when I'm teaching, you know, a very simple posture, done it 1,000 times, and then you hit this aha moment, like, oh, you know, you tweak your waist or you turned it a certain way, or something very profound happens, and you say, and you let them know, you say, oh, do it this way. And then you make a mental note and say, oh, yes, that will work better than how I was teaching it previously.
Right.
Breakthrough.
Yeah.
You was going to say something?
I was going to
Dan?
throw something else. Yeah, I had something here I skipped over, but about procrastination, as far as that's a great stress producer when you procrastinate. And as a stress reducer, if you don't procrastinate or jump on something right away and get it behind you, it helps a lot. And that's my side of it.
Hey, you know, I wanted to actually answer the question that I actually asked you, Aaron. I wanted to ask myself that question in regards to what is something simple that people could do starting right away, you know. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Just fine.
Okay, but just thinking, man, we have to be very mindful in all of our choices, you know. And as I said in the beginning when we first started, we have to be mindful of any and everything that enters our body, and make sure that whatever enters our body is, you know, it's cohesive to our body and it's not antagonistic. And that can be people, that can be places, that can be situations, circumstances. So we may have to remove some people from our relationship. We may have to cut some ties with some people. I mean, I'm being real serious. You may be working a job that doesn't really serve you well. It only pays you money. Now, if you have to be there, be there. But at the same time, don't go there every day carrying stones in your heart and hate being there. Be thankful that you're there and know your purpose, but know that you're not going to be there forever, you know. So that's dealing with the places, a job. And then situations, you know, be mindful of the situations that we put ourselves into. There may be certain places that we can't go to because we know that those environments are strictly not helping us in regards to wellness. The things that we listen to, music, things that we watch on TV, is a lot of subliminal messages that are coming our way that we may not realize. Even Facebook, all the social media, make sure that we're going into areas that are encouraging, you know, and actually putting something into our body that's going to serve us well. So that's, you know, we're talking about living a holistic life. There's a lot of things we can do, you know, baby steps we can take. Get rid of that TV show that's not teaching you anything and start replacing it with something that's going to teach you something, you know, that type of stuff. I just wanted to throw that in there.
I think as because we all are martial artists, I think even though I studied Shotokan and you guys are Qigong and Tai Chi, I think still having a martial arts background, a real foundation in martial arts, it helps you with more situational awareness and people's intent and the energy that they hold, even though, and when they become in the space that you're in, even if it's not directed towards you, you can still kind of gauge a person's energy if it's negative, or if they're like, if they're stressed out or if they're having some issues. I can understand a person's energy just being around them. So taking myself out of situations where I feel like that it can be harmful to me, not only physically, but mentally, by causing me stress and things like that, is something that I am happy for, that I gained from martial arts, not just necessarily the art, but it also gave me added sense in a way to understand people and the energy that they have on them or with them.
Right. I like that. Because actually
That comes back to,
go ahead, Dan.
I just gonna say, it comes back to, don't react to what happens to you, or how was it? It's not what happens to you, it's how you react to what happens that counts.
Right.
So and I think martial arts does give you a broader awareness of confidence, number one. And, so that you can kind of take yourself back from the face-to-face confrontation and analyze it for what it really is, and no problem. What is it, Sifu, you say, no problem, or
no enemy, no conflict.
yeah, that's it. So it helps you get to that point versus making it personal, which we talked about. You take it away from being personal, and and then you can deal with it with less stress.
That's very true. So martial arts is not about fighting and hurting people?
No,
I never found that.
Yeah, that's
No,
a
I mean,
misconception,
yeah, it's a byproduct, but I feel like, in the beginning, martial arts is all about self and self-awareness and building yourself up from the inside out. And then it becomes, it also teaches you self-defense. And then some people just use it to hurt people. But
Right.
if you happen to get hurt as I'm defending myself, that's your problem, because you was trying to hurt me in the beginning.
That's
So
true.
I don't think martial arts was ever meant to be made to hurt people. That's why I like the traditional arts, and not so much people that are just all about like mixed martial arts, MMA, because that's just completely the sport aspect of it, and nobody is really training traditional arts anymore and learning from the ground up.
Right. So you can say that martial arts have helped you in regards to dealing with your stress?
Oh, martial arts helped me every aspect of my life: stress, anxiety, anger issues. The first time I learned how to meditate was in martial arts, which again, they don't even teach that. You don't even see that anymore in martial arts. The meditating part of it, you see the blocks, the punches, the kicks, the fancy flips. I'm gonna tell you, I can't do a flip to save my life. I could probably do a cartwheel, but that's about all I can muster up.
I'm right there with you.
I agree.
Forget it. The cartwheel, I don't think I've ever been able to do a cartwheel since fourth
Last
grade.
cartwheel I did, I fell on my head. That was about 3 years ago.
No.
I
Why?
retired.
Why do I need to do a cartwheel? Because it's in a form? No.
It's creating more stress in your life,
Yeah, exactly.
man.
Exactly.
So has martial arts helped anybody else with I know we're talking about stress, but martial arts really helped me with my anger issues. Has martial arts helped anybody else with stress as well as other issues in their life?
It's helped me with stress on many different levels. I say right from starting to learn martial arts, it helped me deal with stress because I had to learn how to defend myself. I was already stressed out because I was playing avoid the bully, running away from people, walking the long way home. That was very stressful. And once I started learning how to defend myself, I no longer had to worry about having to avoid the bully anymore, because usually you only have to prove yourself one time, and then nobody else will bother you. And that's all I had to do, just show one time. And my stress level went way down. So yes, indeed. How about you, Pam? Martial arts help you deal with your stress on any level? Physical, mental?
Probably more physical than anything else. just knowing that when I do Tai Chi practice in whatever capacity, when you get into your zone, that just kind of relaxes you. And I try to take that relaxation for throughout the whole day.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But I've never been in a situation where, well, maybe as a kid, where I was being beat up or whatever, but that was probably my inspiration to start learning how to defend myself. In high school, they used to tease me and chase after me, that kind of thing. So I guess in the back of my mind, when I got into college, I said, I gotta do this. So yeah. But
That's how you
just getting into the,
It's how you reacted to the situation is what counts, and you did a good job.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
How about you, Dan?
Oh, I think I was chased up a swing set one day, and when I was in like 4th grade.
You was chased up a what, Dan?
A swing set in the playground.
Oh, I'm laughing with
That
you.
really, that made me mad. What made me mad worse was I went home at lunch, and my mom told my brother, walk back with him and see what's going on. And I didn't like that either because I wanted to handle it myself. So, but yeah, I think that, so really at the time it was a bad thing, and I was really unhappy about it. But in the long run, again, it gave me incentive to try and look for something better, which was martial arts. So it didn't happen until I think the first year I was going to Akron University, and there was a introductory karate class at the school, and I went and took the first class, and then I went ahead and took, I think, six weeks or so, and he was just out of Nam. He was actually he had a bum leg. He was shot or cut in the leg, so one leg was stiff, but he was a good teacher, and that was my first experience. And then I was off for about 3 or 4 years, and then I finally could go back and try again with a different teacher in a different location. And so I had a lot of stops and starts because of moving around with the job. We were transferred about 7 times in 10 years. So I'd take a little bit of martial arts here, a little bit of martial arts there, and so I never really had a consistent teacher until late in life.
Same here.
But it was all good. It was all good because I just I learned what I could and went on.
Yeah, well, those bullies, those schoolhouse bullies, they can really get to you.
They can stress you out big if
they can
you,
stress
if
you
you
out.
let them, or if you, yes.
Yeah, even with my my sister and I would get into arguments, and I was a lot bigger than her, and I was afraid I'd hurt her. I knew that I needed to do something. So that was the answer. Wasn't until college, but that was the answer. And once I learned, and I wasn't learning so that I could beat people up. I learned so I could feel more confident in myself. So in case somebody does approach me, I knew that I could do something to defend myself. I don't know if I could do it now, but back then, that's what we needed to do.
You could do it now.
I more or less learned so I could beat people up because all my brothers was older than me. And we had some older kids in the neighborhood. I mean, we had fun, but we probably fought every weekend. After we played football and basketball, it always turned into a fight, so we were always fighting.
Wow.
I'm
Play
grateful
fighting
that
or real fighting?
Oh no, it was real fights, but then we were always still friends. But just having that stress of having to, win fights and not go home with black eyes and not get in trouble was a real thing. But everything that I learned from martial arts and the way that it helped me through my life is amazing. So although I learned not to be stressed out, I also learned to defend myself, and I'm able to transition that into life lessons that'll help people that don't necessarily know martial arts and don't want to know martial arts, but you could just turn it into a whole philosophy and help them understand it in a different way, and also to manage their stress like we're talking about here today, because we all have backgrounds in martial arts and we're just using some of the philosophies from martial arts in order to help people manage their stress in real life. And they don't have to know how to do a Tai Chi form or throw a punch or do a backflip. But learning from us here today, they can learn how to manage their stress, which will be more impactful than, learning those other things that come along with martial arts.
So true. So all the ancillary exercises, I would say, they help complement the other aspects of the martial arts, can be beneficial to everyone, even people who aren't as mobile. You can be confined or restricted to a chair or bed. If you can breathe, you can learn how to do Aaron's breathing techniques. If you can breathe, you can learn how to do Aaron's breathing techniques. If you can move a finger or arm or whatever, you can start some movement. So everyone is encouraged to get on the journey to take their health and wellness back into their own hands. And we're most certainly here to help as many people as we can here at Consciously Connecting Humanity 360. So whatever we can do to help out the community, we've definitely put together a strong team of people who are excited to help.
I agree.
Okay.
I think one of the biggest things that we do have, besides our philosophy, is the martial arts, and that draws people's attention, even if they don't want to learn the martial arts, because you can't always draw people's attention with the philosophy, because a lot of people aren't really into listening to other people talk. But once you see, the Tai Chi that you guys have, or any other thing that we may present to them, that catches people's eyes, and then that gives us the platform or the stage to give them philosophy and understanding into the art without telling them that it's not necessarily, about the art.
All right. So how are you going to begin to manage your stress, family? We gave you so many tools to use today. It's like knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. What are you going to do with the knowledge? You're going to turn that knowledge, are you going to embody that and make it wisdom by gaining understanding from personal practice? We're here to help you, family, but we can't do it for you. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps.
Okay. So would that be the end of the broadcast?
Yeah.
Absolutely. What a wonderful broadcast it was indeed.
That's good.
Did you record it, Sister Pam?
It's recording.
Nice.
It's recording, so I'll have to do a little editing to edit out our stuff. But
that was great. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was nice and
yeah, I'll edit it so we have the video and the audio.
All right.
Super.
That was good, Aaron. Thank you for conducting that, my brother.
Yeah,
yeah,
Mr. Moderator here. He's like he's like become the real expert.
That flowed so smoothly. I didn't know if you were moderating or what. That was nice.
But, I mean, I just felt like that I just was talking the way I do on my podcast when I have a guest on, just to try to keep the conversation going.
That's it. That's why I roll so smoothly. I like your approach.
Yeah, I didn't want to put anybody on the spot though. I didn't want to call names, because I never liked that in school when the teacher called on you to read, and it's like I didn't raise my hand, so I didn't want to. I didn't want to keep calling on you.
You can put me on the spot at any time, bro.
Oh man.
I like it because it makes me come from a space that I'm not prepared for, and I work better at. So come at me, though.
Oh, that's good. I feel like that we could probably do like once a month, pick a
Yeah.
topic and do something
Yeah.
like this because it could go up on YouTube. And again, if we end up doing a podcast, we will have the audio to put up on podcast form as well.
Let's do it. Like that.
Whoop.
So is CCH on YouTube, is that private or can people see that?
I made mine. It's not private.
No,
Okay.
That's right.
I was just making sure because I've been doing lives every day, which is stressful. I've been doing lives every day.
I know. You're like, every time I turn on, there's Aaron again. I'm like, yeah, man, he's making me feel bad.
No,
I'm still working on my outline, and he's broadcasting.
my cousin said, to get more visual, to do at least a live. If you do a live every day for a year, then you have 365 videos that you could just repurpose at any point in time. So that's just what I've been doing. But I wanted the live I was going to do today, I wrote something else out, but I just wanted to tell everybody that we did this video on stress management and that they could go on our YouTube page to go check it out. And it'll probably be, I don't want to tell them that it's going to be up anytime soon, but I just want to redirect people to our YouTube page. So anybody that happens to see the video on Facebook and on my YouTube channel, hopefully they'll be redirected to our YouTube page and check it out, and we'll start getting some subscribers.
Sure. When I finish editing it, I'll send everybody the link.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
And Pam and Aaron, if you'll forward me your email address,
I will.
on Messenger, I will send you the documents so you guys can view them.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All right, guys. I gotta go. I have an 8 o'clock. So I gotta eat some dinner.
All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Right
That was
back at
good.
you, family.
Thanks, Aaron.
See you soon, family.
Adios.